UBC campus by, you can say IKB Learning Center. Or you can just say UBC campus.
And what's your name?
I have to make it up. My name is Ocean.
Nice to see you, Ocean.
Hi, Ocean. Oh, you're already filming? That's good.
Why are you here?
You mean on campus? I'm part of the student club. So I participate in different activities. I study I take classes. I use the library and computers.
Are you a religious person?
Yes, definitely.
How would you describe your religious perspective?
Well, I would say I have the same religion as the plants, as the trees. I believe in what they believe in. Mother Nature.
But
Basically a pagan.
how can plants have beliefs in the way humans have beliefs?
I believe that plants are conscious. Yeah, they have a certain level of awareness, different kind of awareness from ours. You can discover that for yourself through consuming plants. It is manifested to you very clearly in no uncertain terms. Information that you would never can get anywhere from anywhere else. Just pouring down. It's like an avalanche of information. So I believe plants are conscious. Very sincere, after long time experiencing myself and studying our predecessors in the 60s and our current great leaders like Terence McKenna and Timothy Leary, Dennis McKenna, and all these great people. Then you come to this conclusion yourself. It's a very logical conclusion actually to make. It's not I don't believe it's some kind of hogwash because the shamans themselves, basically what they're doing is we're repeating what the shamans have been saying for thousands of years. I think the shamans know what they talk about. I think the shamans are a very good source. We're very well off listening to them.
Do you consider yourself a political person?
No, not at all. I hate politics. Last topic I would talk with anybody is politics. Drugs, physics, sex. Sure.
But
Politics? No.
isn't there politics to all of those things? Politics of drugs, of sex, of physics?
Yeah, and that's the distressing fact. And that is just another reminder that we need to get back to nature, follow the archaic principle, the archaic revival, back to nature. Because politics is a result of purely human awareness, consciousness. And if we go back to nature and restore our relationship with her, politics as such will probably disappear. That's my sincere, probably overly too optimistic, but still a belief.
Do you vote?
No. I don't believe in voting. poison for the masses, man. Totally. Avoid it. Try not to watch it. I don't own television. Never watch it. Only like a really good TV series. But you can watch it online for free now. So yeah, I would just say throw away television. It's very bad for your mind. I think it's. I would rather drop acid than watch TV. Very bad.
What about philosophy? Would you say you have a philosophical perspective on your life?
What about philosophy?
Is philosophy important for you?
Yes, absolutely. Very much, very much. Important. Philosophy is like essential to my life. I believe that it's completely, we have this urge, inner metaphysical urge to know things, why they are the way they are, and what is all this, and who we are. So we have this impulse, and yeah, we should follow it. It's very important to ask questions and be curious and do drugs. Because drugs and philosophy, I think they're like a marriage made in heaven. Especially LSD or DMT in philosophy. Both of them are really good for philosophy. I believe that philosophers should take drugs, and scientists, physicists. Physicists are too sober nowadays. You sit with them and you mention marijuana and the eyes glaze over. They're too sober. They have to be psychedelic, because it's been shown now. Everybody knows for a long time. That psychedelics, they increase intelligence. Silicon Valley phenomenon of microdosing should be mentioned.
Look a bit like Abraham Lincoln.
Oh yeah? He was assassinated, right? Some people say I look like young Karl Marx.
What do you think about Karl Marx?
I respect him as an intellectual, a very smart, very intelligent person. But I think he caused, with his own theory, he caused a lot of suffering. Lenin and everybody, all the communists. It was probably the greatest, in my opinion, probably the greatest catastrophe that mankind has ever suffered is the communist uprising or revolution. Started, unfortunately, by Karl Marx.
Don't you think that Lenin did some good?
I think he did some good, and he meant a lot of good, I believe. But I think that the human nature is just incompatible with communism. And this whole effort, this whole social grand experiment was, as you know, a big failure. In Russia, it's completely gone, and in China, it's a mockery. It's a full-blown capitalism there. So, I believe it's a failed social experiment that was way too costly, and we should never repeat that. Nazism will probably, most likely, not be possible if there is no communism. There'll be no Hitler. There'll be no Holocaust. There'll be no State of Israel, stuff like that. So Marx started a very, very, very troubling period in our history. But that's just my opinion, man.
How do you feel about capitalism?
Well, I've been taught since I was a little child to hate it. Growing up in East Germany, they taught us to, Russians, they taught us to hate capitalism. So that's the thing, you know. Capitalism works, you know. It encourages competition. Companies compete against each other, and research happens, and science is born. And we go to the moon, and we go do all these things. But unfortunately, it also has a negative side effect on people. You know, we stop being people and become consumers. So capitalism has to end at one point, I believe, because the resources are not infinite. Earth can only give so much to us. Our population is exploding. So capitalism will have to stop to either complete halt, you know, go to space or something, discover a new source of energy, you know, do something to survive. But it's proven to be very viable, you know, as a system. It's been around for a while. Monetary system is very efficient and it's hard to destroy. So as much as I don't like it, I have to accept that, you know, it's a reality, and we should find something better, because capitalism is not going to run forever. But communism is not an answer, definitely, in my opinion. We shouldn't be communists. We shouldn't be Nazis. You know, we shouldn't be fascists. We should find something more, you know, higher consciousness level. You know, like by taking drugs, hopefully we'll be able to discover the system, you know, and implement it. And that's my hope. More people take LSD and smoke DMT, they will realize that capitalism has got to go. Yeah, it comes from Oceania. And this is another spirit plant. The people they drink kava, they call it the drink of the gods. So for them, they give it to like an important guest to come, like a pope comes or a queen. They always give them kava to drink, as a, you know, sign of cultural respect. Yeah. But it's like wine. It makes you drunk, but you're not drunk. You maintain lucidity. Yeah.
Is it a legal substance?
It's legal, absolutely legal. Yeah, you can buy it by bottles, by containers. So I'm very enthusiastic and exciting about kava because it can replace benzos. Because benzos are bad for you. If you take too much benzos, you become dependent on. But kava is not. It's a natural benzo. It's anxiolytic, dissolves the anxiety. It's a muscle relaxant, right? And it's also aphrodisiac, and it induces vivid dreams. If you take it before you go to bed, you will get vivid dreams, which I testify personally to. Yeah, so kava.
Where can you get it in Vancouver?
You have to go to that place and order it. You know, it's in Yale Town. It's called Zen Conscious Lounge. Yeah, it's right outside the station. You come out.
What do you think about Zen as a philosophy, as a religion?
Oh, no, it's a Zen with a D. But
Zen.
Zen, I think it's a very cool form of Buddhism, very groovy form. Because they are. But the thing is that they don't. They conflict with psychedelics. They don't like drugs so much. And we're on the drug path. I am in the war for drugs. So Zen, they don't appreciate it very much, but it is a very cool philosophy. I like it. You can be hip with it. You know, if you quote some Zen koans, Do you know any Zen koans?
Does a dog have Buddha nature?
Does a dog have a Buddha in it?
Have Buddha nature?
Yeah. That's not a Zen koan.
Yes, it is.
It is?
It is.
Okay. But it doesn't sound like it. Koan is usually like a paradox.
Well, what's your answer?
My answer is yes. It's not a koan.
How does a dog have Buddha nature?
Well, because everything living has Buddha nature. Dog is alive. So
But a dog can feel suffering. Isn't Buddha nature supposed to be beyond suffering?
no, Buddha nature is awareness that all life is suffering, and that there's a way out of it through meditation and enlightenment. Right? So dog cannot achieve enlightenment, but he can. He definitely has a Buddha nature. Because everything in life has Buddha nature. Everything, nature is conscious. So therefore, it's aware. And parts of it, like in Buddha, become enlightened. You know, some of us, we still think we're all separate people. No, we walk around. You know that we're dreaming right now, right? This is what's going on. Is that we're all asleep. This is a dream right now. So we just walk around like shades and bump into each other. Have some lift systems and all this things, right? But we're actually sleeping right now. So Buddha was lucky enough to awaken. You know, he was one of those fortunate people. But yeah.
What do you think about Judaism and Christianity?
All bad religions should not be encouraged.
Even Christianity?
Yeah, that definitely.
What do you think about Jesus Christ?
Islam, Christianity, and Judaism should be kind of ignored.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that strongly.
In Islam, I understand completely.
Yeah.
But Christianity and the Crusades, I get that.
Yeah.
But don't you think there's something at the core of Christianity which is valuable?
I think Christianity is, at the core is still Judaism. I mean, they still believe in God the Father. The only difference is that the Christians have an afterlife, the Jews don't. So Christianity is more appealing to me, for example, because I want to have afterlife. But paganism is a better alternative to Christianity.
What do you think about Jesus as a person?
I think he was a magus. He was like a shamanic figure. I strongly believe that. Yeah, maybe Buddha was a shamanic figure as well. Muhammad, perhaps. So I don't know. But I think new religion should be archaic, paganism. We have to go back to natural, like we used to live in for thousands of years. You know, believing in, different ways of society and cultural norms, and drinking a lot of mushrooms, eating a lot of mushrooms. So archaic revival, that's what's happening. Or, death. Because Earth is in trouble.
What do you mean by the word archaic?
Archaic, I mean, before agricultural, before men became settled. Archaic meaning taking to the times when the men still living in tribes, having very different values and views on the world.
But don't you think we need to keep the technologies we've developed?
Yes, we do, absolutely. Basically just read Terence McKenna. If you're interested in archaic, listen to Terence McKenna and read his books, and you will understand what that means. Because I cannot explain it
Okay.
in 2 words. But basically, you take a lot of mushrooms.
But can you explain in brief what you mean by the word archaic? I guess you have the.
Yeah, well, I already have.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so basically, back to nature, the movement. Orgiastic sexuality, hunting and gathering instead of agriculture. But I mean, we will have all the technology, right? So I don't know how it's gonna turn out because there's also virtual reality coming out. So there's all these strands, nanotechnology, virtual reality, internet, psychedelics. They all kind of seem like at the same time. So the future is very interesting. It looks very interesting. Yeah, but I think it will turns more towards nature, like ecologically. I guess archaic maybe would mean more eco, like eco-fascism, for example. Have you heard of eco-fascism? There's a movement. It's like extreme green movement.
Okay.
That basically deals away with the resource extraction and reseeding the earth with like replanting the trees and everywhere and stopping completely fishing in the oceans, resource extraction, stuff like that, right? And resorting to produce food, resorting to like natural, like growing your own vegetables and having your own farm instead of relying on big corporations and stuff. Yeah. So there's an extreme wing to that called eco-fascists. They want like crazy stuff. I'm not exactly sure what. But
why do you call them fascists?
No, they call
themselves fascists.
Yes.
Do you support that movement?
I do. Yes. I do, but like I'm not actively committing any acts. They do, because they do eco-terrorism. They commit certain terrorist acts. So I'm not taking part of that. But I do believe that we do have that need to go maybe eco aristocracy or something. Maybe not fascism. You know what I mean? Yeah, or eco monarchy. You know what I mean? Like queen. Nature is the queen, and we're her subjects. Maybe eco monarchies are better than eco fascism. But the important thing is the eco, the green element.
Yeah, I hesitate about the word fascism because it has such negative connotations.
Yeah, me too.
Of a dictator.
Control. We want to be nature in control. Like our society should be based on natural principles, the way she operates. That we can live in complete harmony with her. You know what I mean? Like we have our houses and our cities built in a way that are not disturbing ecosystem. Like in symbiosis. We will let her be in charge.
How do we get there?
Yeah. Well, people like to take charge, and they want to be in charge.
Yeah.
So that's why we have all this tyrants and bad people, you know. So that's why I basically plant psychedelic shamanism, spirit plant medicine. Something to do for the city, for the country, at least I try to be like a sun inside, shine.
Do you feel that some people have a stereotype of you because you're a drug dealer?
Yeah, probably, but I don't care. Because I only do it part-time. I think that people that actually know me, more than just a few interactions, they know that I'm not just a drug dealer. But of course I am that. But that's not my ambition. That's not what I want to be. Even though I want to be the best at what I do, I want to provide the best quality.
Yeah, sure.
People that are in our movement, they're raising consciousness of the people about the planet. Because that's what the psychedelics do. They take it to a higher level of consciousness, right? And the planet is dying right now. Everybody knows that, but nobody's doing anything about it. So I believe that psychedelics is our shortest and maybe surest way to preventing killing ourselves.
Interesting.
But that's not my idea. That's Terence McKenna. Yeah, he's saying, and I also believe, that why DMT is better to smoke DMT is better for people in the city, because not most of the people cannot go to Peru and sit with the shaman, right? It's just impossible physically. It's how it should be done properly, but we can't. We can't do it. Like most of the people can't go to Peru and drink ayahuasca. So the best, I think, for us is just to go the smoking route, because it only lasts a few minutes, takes you to the same place, shows you the same thing, hopefully teaches you the same thing. You don't need elaborate ceremonies and shamans. You just do it on your own. It's your own little plug-in out of the system.
You said last time that you thought capitalism had to end. I wonder if you could say more about that.
Problematic is the fact that it destroys all cultures, right? It's rapacious. It rapes the planet Earth out of resources, of which the amount of is finite. So eventually, when we run out of oil, what's next? Natural gas, and so capitalism is very rapacious, and the way that things are right now, it's very detrimental to the health of the planet. It's killing the planet basically. Right? But I don't believe that communism, for example, is the answer. I believe that psychedelic not therapy, but the political system based on psychedelic mentality would be something that saved the planet. Like not meritocracy, but what would you call it? Where the elders are in charge, the people most competent to do the job of governing.
Yeah, sure.
Not like king that got his kingdom from his dad just because it's his dad. So, but I think capitalism has a potential within itself to turn things around if we'll be able to change, people's consciousness through the substances. If we can convince CEOs, the Queen of England, all these people to take another look at what they're doing, maybe they'll knock some sense into them. But I'm very skeptical. I believe in rapid action, blitz enlightenment. I call it.
Yeah.
Through smoking DMT instead of yeah, because it will show you the same thing. It will show you the same thing that you need to see.
But are drugs necessary for that change, for that enlightenment?
I believe yes. I believe at the point that we are right now, almost of no return, planet dying, I believe the psychedelics is one of our best hopes of altering the consciousness of the world. So that's my earnest belief, because of its power. Like I felt its power, and it's tremendous. You know, the power is that you're shaken by is just enormous, and they call DMT the ultimate convincer, for a reason, I believe. So I have complete faith in it. But to convey that faith, I can't just tell people, oh, it's gonna do this for you, and they can say, yeah, just some drug,
Yeah, sure.
right? But if they actually have 5 minutes to try it, all I do, I'll just give it to them and say, try this. I'm not saying anything else. Just try this, and then we talk again. Like today, I introduced a person, and he, what he decided? He decided to quit smoking right after the session. He's a smoker of cigarettes. And now after the session, he comes to me, so you know what? I made a decision. I'm going to quit smoking because it showed me my problem. It showed me what the problem is. It's amazing power. It's just because in DMT that I gave him, ayahuasca is present, and ayahuasca is present in every psychedelic trip. So the shamans say. Right? So he decided to quit smoking. What the fuck? See, that makes my life worth living. Stuff like that. Existence is justified. He's a young kid, so it's a good time to quit. So do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's how powerful these things are, and how beneficial they are, and how little people know about them. And the part of what I want to do is to bring them to people, like en masse, or to people who can change things, at least. Like, it would be nice to introduce major CEOs of oil companies and car companies and all these people to ayahuasca, but how you do that? So I believe DMT is a better way to do that, and that's probably achievable, but it's also part of the work, I suppose. Uh, 15 minutes of fame. I used to live in another province, right?
Yeah.
So when I moved here, my roommate was a big cannabis smoker, and LSD head. And he knew about psychedelics, so he introduced me to cannabis. My roommate, and then he introduced me to LSD. Right? He said, "Try this." And it was okay, but the next introduction came later with a fuller dose, and then from then on. So I think this city, I believe this city is like a San Francisco of Canada, Van Francisco, or Amsterdam. It's a basically psychedelic capital of this country.
Interesting.
I believe, because you can find everything here. Iboga, ayahuasca, DMT, LSD, mushrooms of all kinds, salvia, morning glory, everything, you name it, you find it here. So I believe this is like a center of this resurgent, maybe like a unofficial center. But the official psychedelic research takes place now. So this is like a unofficial side of that. So, like a 60s 2.0.
Do you think that Vancouver is also more progressive politically?
Oh, absolutely, definitely. It feels here like this is the most enlightened province in Canada. Because I've been all over. I've been most of the provinces. Ontario, and yeah, I think BC is like almost seems like a different country even than Canada. Better than Canada. Because just the atmosphere here for some reason, just you walk around and you smell weed everywhere, and it's just people are chill, just the whole ambiance in the city feels really good. Like for example, cannabis gives me anxiety, but I balance that with other plants, like anti-anxiety. So other people may have some paranoid reactions to it, but paranoid is my favorite state because that's where you ask all these philosophical questions about existence. That's the paranoid state. Who am I? Where am I? What is this place? Who's watching me? So Lacan, I don't know if you've heard of Jacques Lacan, he said that the structure of human knowledge is essentially paranoid. And Salvador Dali also wrote a piece about that. So, I believe paranoia is not the bad guy.
What are your thoughts on mental health and?
Well, I know mental health. In our society, a guy is a schizophrenic, but in Peru he would be a shaman. So my uncle, I have family that belongs to psychiatric profession, right? And I've been through some bipolar disorder. I've been diagnosed with like several different mental illnesses throughout my life, and every psychiatrist. I just don't believe don't have any faith in the profession. So, but mental illness is definitely an issue, and I believe psychedelics actually can help addressing this issue. Like, for example, research on MDMA towards PTSD, or psilocybin mushrooms towards the terminal illness, death anxiety, depression, stuff like that. There's been many big studies recently on positive impact that psychedelics can have on mental health. So and our club is actually at the UBC is about that. It's like a psychedelic psychotherapy. So we believe that there's like untapped potential. Very excited.
If capitalism is to end, how will it end?
Oh yeah, that would be capitalism ends.
What could replace
it? Pretty ugly. Pardon?
What could replace it?
What could replace it? I would call it something like a psychedelic communism. I would probably go for that, or psychedelic socialism, where we're back to not like it's like an archaic revival that Terence McKenna was talking about.
Yeah.
We'll go back to our prehistoric origins. We'll go back to the union with nature and harmony with nature, but with all the knowledge, all the technology that we still have. We're not going to abandon that, of course. We're not going to forget quantum mechanics. So, but that's these are just like my own imaginings, so to speak. But yeah, things are pretty bad right now, though. So radical problems require radical solutions, and I believe that psychedelics are one of these radical solutions. I believe that strongly. There might be others that I don't know about, but this one I believe is the one that I want to be part of. Yeah. I don't want to be a problem. I want to be part of the solution.
و نه دیگه میاد که من خواب سری پا بشم یه ساعت
What is this called again? Skywalker?
Yeah.
Pretty good strain. Very relaxing. I take cannabis to control my seizures, because they help with that. So it's better than being on all this crappy pharma meds, that gives you all kinds of side effects. Who knows what they do to your body? And you want to know what you put into your body. It's a good awareness to have, especially with psychedelic drugs. You want to learn everything as much as you can about them before you take them. Just be smart about it.
They forced me onto psychiatric drugs.
Pardon?
They forced me onto psychiatric drugs.
They have?
Yeah, at an institution. It was horrible. It was fucking horrible.
Yeah, they give you nasty shit. What is it? What was it?
Antipsychotics.
Thorazine? Yeah.
Antipsychotics. Abilify, risperidone, injected into me.
Really? Fuck. That's terrible, man. That's where the spirit plants, I think, are our salvation. They know exactly what's wrong with us, and they can heal us. If we have all of these mental problems that we call mental health, those all are treatable by shamanic medicine. And we should employ, I believe, in my humble opinion, we should stop prohibition of these plants like ayahuasca and DMT, peyote, all of this spirit plant, San Pedro, and also the toad that produces 5-MeO-DMT. All these substances should be legalized. That they're produced by nature. They're everywhere. It's absurd to declare a plant illegal. How can a plant be illegal? It's just the height of absurdity. And I believe we should, change our psychiatry towards the natural healing with plants like yoga, ayahuasca, peyote, LSD, mushrooms. Good stuff. Nature made. We're also made by nature. We are kind of plants ourselves.
LSD isn't made by nature, though.
No, technically, but it's called a semi-synthetic substance because it's derived from an ergot, which is a fungus, right? Originally, but now you can totally synthesize it. However, the fact that it's a discovery is very strange, serendipitous, serendipity kind. The whole Albert Hoffman story. It's a very serendipitous story, and that fact or that appearance is very interesting, and it makes you think that maybe LSD is not an accident, because he was looking for something completely different. He was looking for the ways to ease women's labor, right? And he discovered LSD. So I think there's some kind of a higher causality at work here. You know? So yeah, because it does not occur in nature, but there's something close to that called LSA that occurs in morning glory seeds, and that's been used by the Mayans for ever as an entheogen.
What do you think about the drugs that have been developed by pharmaceutical companies?
Oh yeah, those are not very good. I mean, some of them are absolutely necessary for like heart condition and diabetes and all of this, terrible diseases, AIDS, you name it. But for psychiatric purposes, I think we should go back to the naturals. That would be our psychiatrist should get shamanic training, in plants and how it relates to the human mind, and but some drugs are unnecessary, like for heart, stomach, if you have a serious medical issue. Of course, you need to use drugs to save life, but psychiatric drugs, yeah, they should be replaced by the natural.
What do you mean when you talk about shamanic practices or shamans?
Well, like we have like shamans. They claim, and there's a record that ayahuasca can cure most of the diseases that we have, psychologically, like speaking, schizophrenia, personality disorder, depression, anxiety, all of this mental illness issues. Shamans claim to be able to cure instantly, or almost instantly. Right? So I believe it's a good idea for Western psychiatrists to take a trip to the Amazon, or to just join them in the ceremony, drink ayahuasca with them, and find out, what the shamans know, because they know a lot. They possess encyclopedic knowledge of the jungle around them. Hundreds of thousands of species of plants, intimately known by a shaman, and how it relates to men in health and in spirit. So that's what I mean.
Do you consider yourself a spiritual person?
I would like to be, but it depends on what you mean by spiritual. I'm more of an intellectual, I suppose. More than, but I do lean towards religion. I like religion a lot, and I believe that man is inherently a religious animal. We have this thirst for the divine, from the get-go. So, spiritual has been disabused a lot of times, and but I want to go back to the original meaning of the word religion. Religio. It's a Latin word. Relegeim means to bind back man to the gods, to bind again our soul to divine consciousness, the man to nature, man back to gods, to re-establish the balance that's been broken. So religion, I think, is super important. And we should follow. I'm fiercely religious. As someone, to paraphrase Bataille, Georges Bataille.
French philosopher.
Yeah, that's what he said. And I would repeat that.
Don't you think religion has caused a lot of harm in history?
Right, it did, but that's organized. It's organized religion. The Catholic Church, or jihad, or all this Islamic state of Iran, these things, yes, and in the past, yes, I agree. But so did communism. Communism did terrible things, even worse. And it's an atheistic. There's something called Black Book of Communism. All the atrocities that have been committed are recorded there. It's a big, thick book. So I believe that the plants, nature itself, provides a true religion for us. You know, there is a religion, and I believe there's only one true religion. It is the one that provided by nature herself, which is the plants.
How could that religion organize human society?
Well, that's because the plants, they know more. They can teach us. You know, that's what shamans do. They learn from the plants. You know, spirits show them where the illness is. They tell them where to heal, where to block, and the shaman goes there and he takes it out. You know, so that religion, I mean, the shamanism is the oldest religion that we have. There's no older religion. It's the most archaic. You know, I think Neanderthals had shamans. You know. So they buried their dead with painted ochre. You know, the Neanderthal dead already, and they put a huge stone over the grave to indicate, you know, belief in the afterlife. So it's pretty old, man, and I'm getting cold.
You want to move inside?
Oh, sure. Inside, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.